So, good morning, everyone. So let's start with the session. Hope my voice is audible and my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to start with one question which I have posted on LinkedIn yesterday. I found this question interesting, so thought of sharing with you guys. So the question, okay. Uh, did you get a chance to go through this question?
Yeah.
So, okay, I will do one thing. Go through this question. I have posted this on LinkedIn as well. Okay. And let me know if you have any doubt or anything you want to clarify, then we can discuss on top of this. Or those who have gone through that question, please let me know if you have any doubt, if you want to discuss anything. I think solution was easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually in this two question, the why I have posted this was a special thing, ASCII. I wanted to show my audience that ASCII is the one thing based on which SQL engine sorts the values. Okay. And apart from this, here the purpose of showing this is like you can compare the two columns of the same table. Generally, the audience they have understanding that whenever you're writing where condition with a column, then you have to hard code a value here, right? But you can see I'm not hard coded anything, so that's also possible in SQL engine. Okay, so go through that. If you have any question, we can discuss on that. Okay, so this was the assignment. Let's start the assignment first. And thanks a lot for all those who have shared the assignment. I have given the feedback as well. Okay, so this was the first question. Most of you have solved this correctly. So any question on this? Anyone who wants me to discuss this first question? No? Okay. Second question. What is the output of the below query? Okay. So here, what's the problem in this query?
We did not mention from which table we need to see the value.
Value.
Book ID should be from which table?
Okay. So you have used this book ID you want in the select clause, but you have not mentioned that this book ID you want from which table, because book ID is present in both the tables, books and authors, right? So SQL engine will get confused that the user is looking for this book ID from which table. So ultimately your SQL engine will throw error message. So please make a rule whenever SQL will get confused. I will show you many instances where SQL will get confused, what to do. And if the SQL is confused, it will throw error message. That's the funda. If there is a syntax error, that's a different thing. If syntax error is there, so of course any programming language. Those who not speak, please go on mute. So any programming language, like if the syntax is not correct, that will throw error message. We all know that, right? So here, when SQL will get confused with the data while comparing, and if it is not clear, that will throw error message. Okay, I think question number 2 is clear. Question number 3, all of you have given the correct answer. Which of the following statement is correct? Generally, join scans the entire set of records between two tables. So generally, that's what I have mentioned here, generally. Okay. Generally, join scans the entire set of records between two tables. Okay. Sorry. Second, join will stop at the particular record when joining condition is met. No, I have highlighted this yesterday. Or else I can tell you that yesterday's topic was means the important point which I wanted to highlight in the yesterday topic was this one. I don't think that if there is joining condition matches, so SQL engine will stop there. No, it's not like that. It will scan all the records of all the tables. But of course, you have some certain parameters. Based on that, you can control it. That will be discussed on the line. Okay, and then what you have, what is the output of the below query? So this is the query. Okay, and asking what is the output. So what will the output of this? Come on.
It will give the ID, name, and salary.
ID, name, and salary. So how much ID will get for the first record?
1.
One. Name?
1 A.
Yeah.
And then
100.
how much salary?
100.
100. Very good. Then
A 1.
1.
A 100. B 100.
B 100.
B
B
100.
200. Yeah. B 100. Yeah.
Yeah, 100.
Okay, then
That's all.
that's all. But you have null here and here also you have null. So this null will not be compared with null.
No, it cannot be get.
Okay, so null comparison with null doesn't happen. So both the nulls are not same in the SQL world. Okay, that's why you will not get null value here. That is what I thought of. That's the main purpose of this query. So if someone will give this answer that okay null a and 200 will be there, so no, you will not get this value. Okay, because SQL engine doesn't compare the null records. Is that clear? Anyone who wants me to explain this again? Is this clear? So SQL join fails while comparing null. You can understand in this way, or this is the limitation of joins. Inner join, it will fail while comparing null. When you will discuss left join, right join, full join, cross join, you will see that how you can get the value. But so far, don't go in all those topics. So far, stand that null comparison doesn't happen. And this is not with the join. This is in the entire SQL world. Okay, I'll show you a few other examples. Then this is the question that is SQL query to fetch the employee name and manager name. Okay, so this only one or two has solved this. Let me start with question number 5. Before that, try to understand what I'm. Okay, so this is the table I have created. So let me start from employee. So this is the data in front of you. So first of all, let's analyze the data. What this data is telling. Okay, so this is the data in front of you. Okay, can anyone explain me what is happening in this data?
It's giving the manager's name of the employee. Sorry, manager ID of the employee.
And yeah. Okay, 1 minute. I think this is hand. I got now this is employee table. Okay. See, this suppose this is the database of any particular organization. So this is the employee ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the employee ID, and this is the employee name. So forget about this column, manager ID. Suppose this was not present at all. So this is clear, very simple. Employee ID 1, employee name is A. Employee ID 2, employee name is B. For employee ID 3, employee name is C. Similarly for 4 and 5. This is very straightforward. Now, what this column is giving information is, this is giving you manager ID. So for employee ID 1, whose name is A, manager ID is 4. Now, if you want to know who is the manager name, so what you have to do, this 4 you have to search here. Okay, so this is 4. His name is D. So D is the manager of A. Okay, is that clear? Sorry. I'll ask you, if I will ask you manager name, how you have to find it. For employee ID 1, whose name is A, manager ID is 4. Take this manager ID from here. Okay. Or let's do one like this. Make a copy of this table. Create a copy of this table. Okay. Sorry. So here you have manager ID 4. You have to take this manager ID 4 from here. Then you have to come to this table, employee. And you have to keep this 4 here. And search for this ID 4 in this table. So where you have this ID 4? So here you have this ID 4, right? Okay. So, so for four, what is the name of employee? D. So D is the manager of this particular person. Hope you understood this. Is this clear? I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, for employee ID 2, employee name is B, manager ID is 4. Okay, so if I'm asking who is the manager name, you have to copy this 4 from here. Then same table. You see, I'm using the same table. You have to go to the same table, paste it here. So my employee ID 4 is this one. Employee name is D. So D is the manager name of employee. Okay. Similarly, for employee ID 3, employee name is C, manager ID is 5. So what you have to do? Copy this manager ID from here. And then again in the same table, you have to search for the manager ID. So this is the manager ID 5. His name is E. So E is the manager. Any question, guys? Is this clear?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I will ask you who is the manager of D?
No one.
No one, right? Because you have null. Null means no one is the manager of this. Okay, or else if you want to understand from joining perspective, what you have to do, copy this from here, paste it here. Now, is this null equal to 1? No. Is this null equal to 2? No. Is this null equal to 3? No. Is this null equal to 4? No. Is this null equal to 5? No. So there is no matching record. So you will not get any record for this and no record for this as well. So this was the logic. Any question? I'm repeating.
No.
Okay. Now, if I have to write a query, so how I will write? Select what I want. I want employee name and manager name. So from this table, I will get the employee name. Correct? This is the employee name. So I will select employee name first of all. Now, from which table you want employee name? From this table. So write from employee table. Employee table alias A. Now, do one thing. I'm telling you one best practice whenever you're writing SQL query from now onwards. Till yesterday, I have taught you that whenever there is a column which is present in both the tables, then you have to give an alias, right? To avoid the confusion. We have discussed that. But make it a habit. Make it a habit that what all columns you are using in select clause, and whenever you're using join, keep aliases for all the columns. Okay, make it a habit. So a dot employee name from employee A, and then join. I will join this with which table?
Employee table.
Employee table only. Same table I am joining. But I will give alias here B. Is that fine? Now from B table, what you want? This B table, what you want?
ID.
No, you want employee name from this only. Based on the ID you are joining. Correct? No? Based on the ID you are joining. So you want employee name from this table as well. So you will write comma B dot employee name. But you want to term it as manager name. So I will use alias manager name. So far clear? Any question?
Tanvir, we are joining on manager ID and employer ID, right?
I have
Okay.
not come on the joining condition now. Before that, any question till here? Is this clear?
Yes.
Everyone, is it clear, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, coming to the joining condition. From this employee A table, which ID you have taken to join? Employee ID or manager ID?
Employee ID.
Employee.
No, wrong. See, from here, employee A table, you have taken the manager ID, no? You want to know the manager of this record. So you have taken this manager ID 4, correct? And you have kept it. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so from this employee table, you have taken manager ID, correct? And then this manager ID, you are trying to match with the employee ID. This is what you have done, if you remember.
Yeah.
Let me show you with the help of this. think this is not happening anyway. So you have taken this manager ID from this table, correct? And then you have joined with this employee ID of the next table. Am I correct? This is what we have done.
Yeah.
Okay, so joining condition will be on A dot manager ID is equal to B dot employee ID. That's all. So this is the query. Let me execute this. Okay, A, B, C, D, D, E is the output. Let's verify the output. D, D, E is the output. Hope this is clear. Now, if you look at the question here, I have mentioned that for D and E, if there is no manager, I want this to be NA. So what I have to do here? Come on.
Outer join, I think.
Fine. So that is not coming here. We will see how to solve it. But before proceeding on that part, because right now we can see we are not getting that D and E. D and E is not present. So why it is not present, we will discuss all these things and how to solve this. We see that down the line. But before proceeding, any question on this query?
No.
Danya, is it clear to you?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, here we have joined the two tables. Are these two tables same or different?
Same.
Same. So that's why this join is known as self join. Perfect. That's all. Story finish. Now tell me, self join is a new concept? No, same inner join only. Just you are joining the two tables which are same. Any new thing I have taught you here apart from yesterday? Nothing new I have taught. Joining condition is same, concept is same, everything is same. So just if the two tables are same table, it is known as self join. So this is known as self join. Hope this is clear.
It's 720.
Yeah, yeah, please tell me. Telling something 720?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Tanvi.
Okay, no problem. Now the question is that, okay, fine, then we record the output. This ABC is coming, that is fine. But what about this? As per the query, we're asking this should be the expected output, correct? So you can tell that, okay, Tanvir, but in the expected output, D and E is missing. Forget about NA, how to bring NA, we'll discuss afterwards. Okay, the first thing is this D and E record is not coming. And in your output, you have shown only ABC. Why D and E is not coming, right? That's a question. So if I will ask you the same question, that why this D and E record is not coming at the output. So how you can justify this? What is the reason?
Null is there.
Is there, so what?
D and D are not.
Null can
It do not have any manager ID.
No. Think from joining perspective. Why you have not got the D and E as an output? That is my question. Why D and E? You can, if you see here, no. So in output employee name D and E, why it is not visible? What is the reason?
It did not satisfy the joining condition.
Satisfy the joining condition. This is what I want to hear from you. Don't go with null and all those things. Suppose if I will keep here 10 and 11. Okay. Now do you think it will be it will come at the output for D and E?
No.
No, because if you take 10 from here and it will put it here. So do you have 10 employee ID present in this column?
No.
No. So D will be visible? No, it's not visible at the output. So why D is not visible? The answer is not null. Okay, it's not because of null. It is because the joining condition is not satisfied. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
Okay. So the reason is because of joining condition. Joining condition has failed, and that's why this is not at the output. Hope this is clear to everyone. Now, but even then, suppose your manager, your boss is telling that, no, I don't know what is the joining condition and all those things. I want this kind of data. So for those employees, if there is no manager, I want those details and I want this as a NA. That is the requirement. So I thought, okay, fine. If this is the requirement, we'll do something. Then you have a concept of left join and right join. Okay, what is this left join and right join? Let's try to understand. And always write queries in this fashion. All your select clause should be in first line, your front table should be in second line, and your joining condition will be third line. So this helps in reading the queries actually. Okay. Now if I will write left join here, same query, nothing new I have done. Let me remove this. Then the same query I will write here, left join. Now see what is happening here. Now you got D and E. D and E is coming, right? So what this left join is doing here. So moment you will write left join, so SQL engine will understand that, okay, user is telling me that first of all, fetch all the records which is fulfilling the or satisfying the joining condition. Okay, first of all, fetch all the records which is fulfilling the joining condition. Then if there is any record which has not fulfilled the joining condition, I want those record as well. That means left join. Left join means to the left of this. To the left of this, you have this table, correct? So you want all the data from this left table, whether it is getting joined or not. I am not bothered about that. So that is why if you see in this table, so D and E was left out because there was no joining condition. So you will get this as well. Is this clear? So that's why you're getting D and E here as well. So you can take this example of like selection. Suppose in your IPL, you have your selections happens, no? So bidding happens for the players. So suppose any particular team, maybe KKR, they have announced that, okay, those players who are not selected by any team, we will select him. Suppose if this is the announcement. So what will happen? This D and E player has not been selected by anyone because maybe they have not fulfilled the matching condition or criteria. So what will happen? So KKR will take him. So the similar way, if you have mentioned left join, so it means first of all, check the records which is fulfilling the joining condition. But if any record is left out, which is not fulfilling the joining condition, we will fetch that record as well. And that's why you can see D and E is also coming here. Fine. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
Any questions so far? Okay. So is this the output what we are expecting?
No.
No. Why?
It should be NA.
Because these two records are null, but they should be NA. So what I have to do here?
NVL.
I will use NVL function. Where I will use NVL? In this manager name column, right? So I will write NVL. NA. Okay, that's all. So this is the benefit of using NVL. Now we got the output. Okay, now I have a question. So this NA, what it is getting displayed here. So do you think this NA has been updated in the table employee, or this is just for the display purpose?
Just for display.
This is just for the display. Don't think that in your table employee this has been updated to NA. It's not like that. NVL is just for the display purpose. Okay. Hope this is clear. You understood the concept of left join as well. Now, now this is the query. It's a very, very good query, and none of you have solved this. Write an SQL query to find the investor name who has invested in more than one fund. You should not use this and all those things. Or actually, I should write here, you should use only join to solve this. So first of all, is the question clear?
Yes.
The question is telling the find the investor who has invested in more than one fund. Okay, so like you can see here, investor name and sector. So Ashni has invested in this food and beverage sector. That is the fund of this food and beverages. Now Anupam has invested in the automobile, Piyush and this one. Okay, so if I'm asking you to someone who has invested in more than one fund, so forget about SQL. How you will proceed here?
Yeah, hi sir. I have one doubt on this.
Yeah.
Your expected output is
Yeah,
P
tell me please.
and Nami. And actually, the Piyush is
Someone has
invested
asked
in
a
same.
question.
Yeah, hello.
Prasad, you're on mute. You were asking, or who was asking?
Yeah, Mugilan.
Mukul,
I'm not sure. Someone has asked a question.
yeah, Mukul is asking. We are audible. I
Hello.
guess some issue.
I think he got disconnected.
Yeah.
1 minute. I'm trying to connect headset. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we cannot.
Hello, I'm audible now.
Yeah, Tanvir.
Yeah.
Can you guys listen me?
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, I'm audible now, guys.
Yeah, we are audible.
Okay, okay. Just a minute. I'm facing some problem with the headset. Give me 1 minute. I'm trying to connect again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, fine. Then we will continue with this only. Fine. Okay. So yeah, someone was asking question. Can you please go ahead again?
Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
Actually, the question is we need to find who invested more than one fund, but Piyush is invested on the same fund.
Sorry, your voice is too low. Not sure for me only. Can you please come closer to the mic? Yeah.
I guess it's fine for us.
Yeah. Please tell me.
Yeah, actually, my concern is whether the question should be the investor who has invested more than one fund, but Piyush is invested on the same fund, tech and tech, in the both the tables. Yeah, but in expected output, you mentioned.
You are correct. You are correct. You are correct. So this should be something different. Okay.
Yeah.
But actually, what I mean from here, you are correct that okay, Piyush has invested in tech here and Piyush has invested in tech here. So it seems to be same. So
Yeah.
actually what I mean here, this is the sector. Okay. So in tech sector, automobile sector, food and beverages sector. And
Yeah.
in each sector, you may have more than one fund, right? That is possible.
Yeah, possible.
That is what I thought of mentioning, but you are correct. This is confusing. You are correct.
Yeah. Yesterday I got confused.
No, you are correct here. So let me change this to cells. So hope this is fine now. Okay, this is fine now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the question. You have write a query to find the investor who has invested in more than one fund. Okay, so more than one fund means if I will concentrate on this investor one table. So from this I can understand that okay, Ashneer has invested in this, Anupam has invested in this, Piyush has invested in this, Namita has invested in this. Okay, but if I will come to this table, so here you can see, I mean, Aman has invested here, Namita has invested here. So if you can see, Namita has invested in a fund which is related to food and beverages, and then Namita has invested in a fund which is related to automobile.
Automobile.
Correct. So we can tell that Namita has invested in more than one fund. Correct. So first
Yeah.
output is Namita. Then if you will see Piyush has invested in a fund related to tech. And then again, Piyush has invested in a fund which is related to sales. So Piyush and Namita are the output. Correct. So what we understood from this, so actually the user, the interviewer is asking the question that pick the investor name which is present in both the tables. Can we go like this?
Yeah.
Correct, no?
Yeah,
That
correct.
the investor name who has invested in, who is present in both the tables. I do understand if you go with that way, that okay, if what this Tanvir, that if you have take present here, the earlier example. So in this case, it seems that Piyush has not invested in more than one fund, correct? But
Correct.
here, if suppose this is sales, take with this one very particular example. So we can tell that, okay, Piyush and Namita has invested in more than one fund. Actually, this I should mention here as well. This was missed. Okay. So actually, user or interviewer is asking you to fetch those investors who are present in both the table 1 and 2, investor 1 and investor 2 table. Is that the correct assessment?
Yeah, correct.
Correct, no? If you will think from other perspective, it seems that the interviewer is asking you to fetch those investors who are present in both the table 1 and 2. Can I tell this?
Yes.
Okay, so what should be the query for that?
Join query.
Join query.
Join. So, okay, if I will tell you that you can use any keyword, so which one you will prefer for this?
Then union,
Union.
Investor name.
not intersect. We can also use.
Intersect.
Yeah.
Union you should not use,
Yeah,
because
intersect.
union will give you all the values, whether it is present in both the tables or
Yeah.
not. So you will use intersect.
Intersect.
Okay.
Yeah, but in question you mentioned that we did not need to use that.
Correct. I have explicitly mentioned that you should not use union, all, intersect, minus, but I should write it there that you have to do this using joins. Okay. Let me show you the data first of all. So this is the investor one. This is done. Let me check the data. Let's start from investor one. This. So this is the data investor one table. Now let's see the data investor two table. Okay. Now this is the data in investor two table. Okay. Now, first of all, tell me guys, is the question clear or not?
Yes.
Is the question clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. From this question, see, this is the problem with the scenario based question. Okay. Nowadays, if you will see, like especially data analytics field, or if you're going for data scientist field, they will ask this scenario type questions. I'm not sure how many of you have observed this. Or if you go for banking examination, we'll ask this kind of, they will not ask SQL, but they used to ask the scenario based questions, right? In scenario based question, first of all, interviewer is checking that have you understood the question or not? Then how you can translate that question from real world problem to the technical problem, correct? Suppose in the same question, if I will write that, okay, write a query to find the investor who is present in both the tables. So that was little bit simpler as compared to this. That's why scenario based question, you have to translate that from real world to the technical field. Okay. So first of all, we understood that, okay, what the question is. Question is asking that investor who has invested in more than one fund. Then next step, we analyze that, okay, actually the question is find the investors who are present in both the tables. So that's why scenario based question, you have to be very careful. Now, if I will tell you that use any keyword, so which one you will prefer for this question?
Intersect.
Intersect. Hope this is clear to everyone. I hope you all know the concept of intersect. Anyone who wants me to repeat?
No.
Okay. Okay. So this is the one which you will use. And you have Namita and Piyush as the output. And I think this is what I have mentioned here. This is correct. But now the question is, you don't have to use intersect. So how you can do this question now?
Join we can use.
We will use join. So investor, see, if I will use join, so what join will do here? First, let's try to understand the concept again. always try to understand from SQL engine perspective that how SQL is reading your query, how SQL is analyzing your query. Don't think from your perspective how you are thinking. This is investor one table. And this is your investor. Investor 2. Now, think about join from other perspective. Okay, think from other perspective. If I am joining investor 1 and investor 2 based on investor name, okay, suppose based on investor name, I'm joining this 2. So how SQL engine works, from where it will start first of all? Investor 1, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
It will pick the first record. First record is Ashni. It will copy it. It will paste here, right? Then after this, what it will do?
It checks on all the column in table 2.
Correct. So it will start with the first record of the other table, right?
Yeah.
This is the first record. Is Ashni is equal to Aman? No. Ashni is equal to Namita? No. Ashni is equal to Piyush? No. Ashni is equal to Vinita? No. So no record fetched, correct? Then after this, what will happen?
Skip. Let's go to next one.
Next one, where Namita?
No.
Next one, next record of the parent table. So it will go to Anupam now, right? We'll take Anupam from here, it will keep it here. And again, it will match. Anupam is equal to Aman, no. Anupam is equal to Namita, no. Anupam is equal to Piyush, no. Anupam is equal to Vinita, no. So this will also be released. Let us go to the next record, Piyush. Copy and paste it. Is Piyush is equal to Aman? No. Piyush is equal to Namita? No. Piyush is equal to Piyush? So yes, Piyush is equal to Piyush. This is the matching record. After this, what will happen?
Select.
It was selected. Then
It's stored in a
Select
temporary.
columns.
sorry.
Yeah, then it's selected record. It's stored in temporary table. Then again it moved to another record.
Another record means which one? Namita?
Namita. Yeah.
It will
No.
go next.
It will go to the next one.
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Check with Vinita. Piyush is equal to Vinita? No.
Yes.
Then it will release it. And then it will move to the next record, Namita.
Yeah.
Copy Namita from here to paste it here. Namita is equal to Aman? No. Namita is equal to Namita? Yes, Namita is equal to Namita. Now this is the matching record. Then again it will move further. Namita is equal to Piyush? No. Namita is equal to Namita? No. Perfect. So we all know that joins works in this fashion. Okay, I think now this is clear to you all, right? How join works. Now, if you think from other perspective, so what actually join is doing? Actually, join is searching for that record which is present in both the tables. Correct, no?
Yeah.
If you think from other perspective, so what join is doing? Join is doing just searching for the record which is present in both the tables. Am I clear?
Yes.
Is this clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, then you will think that Tanvir, then what is the difference between join and intersect? Yeah, intersect is also doing the same thing. Join is also doing the same thing, and all this, right? So quickly, I will show you one simple example. Hope this is clear. Okay. So if I've asked you that find the investor name which is present in both the tables, but you don't have to use intersect. So I think this is clear now that you can do that with the help of join. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we understood that we can do that task with the help of join. Okay. Now the question is that what is the difference then between join and intersect? Okay. I will show you a few more examples, and from that it will be Please clear. Suppose I'm inserting one more record for Namita. Okay. This time she has invested in fashion. Some fashion brand she has invested. Okay. I've inserted this record. You can, guys, please concentrate on this. This seems to be simple. I know you all know joins, but why we are using joins? What's the difference between join and intersect? So always try to understand the concepts from multiple dimensions. Slice it, dry it, drill it, okay, grill it. So you will get more flavors. You will understand more depth. So this is a new record. Namita fashion is there. Okay. Now I'm running this intersect again. What is the output? Same output or different output?
Different output.
Different output.
No, same output, but
Same output.
according
Mhm.
according to the problem statement.
Problem statement. This is different. So let's leave the problem statement now. So you understood the solution of the problem statement that we can use join and we can get the answer. Okay. So now I am moving to the next question, in the sense that suppose someone from you have asked me that, okay, then what is the difference between join and intersect? Because it seems that the join and intersect, they both are doing the same task, right? So what's the difference? That is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to highlight this. Okay. So here I've inserted one more record with Namita. Fine. You can see one more record Namita I have inserted here. So the purpose is to insert a duplicate investor name. Fine. When I've executed this query, you got the same output as the earlier one. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
So what you understood from this two scenario, from intersect perspective?
Intersect ignores duplicate record.
Perfect. Perfect. Very good. Intersect ignores duplicate record. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Clear? Okay. If it is clear, I want to show some more example. We have discussed this earlier as well. Now, I want to show you from joint perspective again. I've inserted an investor name whose name is null. We are not sure about the name, so we have kept null here. Okay. And in this table as well, I have an investor whose name is null. Fine. Please concentrate what I'm doing here. So I have inserted null in both the tables. Now I want to see the behavior of intersect, that how intersect will handle the null records. Okay, we have seen the behavior of intersect with duplicate records and there was no impact because intersect, it seems like by default it is working on distinct, right? Now you got the null value here.
Yeah.
So what you understood from this?
It considers null.
First point is intersect ignores the which record?
Duplicate.
Duplicate records. Okay. Second point, intersect
Consider null.
Considers null records. Is this clear? Anyone who wants me to repeat this, please tell me. No one has understood, I think.
Understood.
Understood. Okay. If you have understood, then. That's what I was telling you at the beginning of today's session. Make it a habit of always using alias. Okay, whether it is present in both the tables. If it is not present, forget about all this and make it a habit. A dot investor name. Is this the correct query which I'm writing, guys? Okay, so let me execute this now. Namita, Piyush, Namita. Okay, I've used the join and we are getting this output. So what's the conclusion from this now? Tell me.
It is considering duplicate, and second thing is it's not considering the null.
Null, sorry, null, no. Joins, consider duplicate records. So how you can tell that join considers duplicate record?
Because Namita, we are getting 2 times.
Namita, we are getting 2 times. And why this is happening?
Because it's present in the first record.
Because the SQL engine scans all the record.
All records, sir.
Correct now? What I have done, I have inserted Namita here, right? If you have noticed. So what happened? So this Namita was joined with this. Again, this Namita was joined with this. So it scans all the records. Okay. So joins consider duplicate records. Not as well. Then second point.
Doesn't consider null.
Joins consider null records, right?
No.
Ignores
Nulls.
null records. So is the difference between intersect and joins, is it clear? Okay, perfect. So if this is clear, let's move to the next question. This was clear. Seventh question, write an SQL query to find investor name who has an investment in only first round. You should not use union and all those things. Investor one is a table which shows investment done by investors in first round, and investor two table which shows investment done in second round. Okay. Now what is the question? Who will explain this? Come on, who will tell?
We need to fetch the record from the investor one who invested in the first round, not in second.
Okay. So you are correct. This is as per the question you have mentioned. But technical language, what this is asking, what this question is asking from us.
Investor name in one not equal to investor name in two.
Perfect. So investor name who is present in investor one table, but not present in investor two table. Correct now? Because if you see here, Namita is present in investor one and investor two table as well. So it means she has invested in two funds or two sectors. So actually the question is to find those investors whose name is present in investor one table only, but not in investor two table. First of all, is the question clear or not? So that's what I told you. In scenario based question, the question will be from real world scenarios, and then you have to convert that in the technical language. Okay. So let me execute this first of all. Job investor one. Investor two. Then tell me, So if I will tell you that, okay, you can use any keyword, so which one you will use?
In operator.
In operator. Okay, tell me the query. Come on, tell me the query.
Select a dot.
No, apart from join, how you can solve this question?
Minus.
Minus, right? Investor name from investor one, right? Minus select investor name from investor two. Is this correct query?
Yeah.
Okay, minus by default has distinct keyword or not?
Yeah. It has distinct.
Yes.
We have discussed earlier. Okay,
Yeah.
intersect, they have by default distinct keyword or not?
Yeah. Internet.
Yes.
Internally.
Right now we have seen that intersect ignores the duplicate record, so it means by default they have this distinct functionality feature. Hope that is clear. Okay, now I'm using this minus one, running this query. You got the expected output. Anupam and Ashneer are the one who has not invested in second round. Is this the correct output?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other way to write this query? This is one way. Solution one. Any other solution, guys?
Yeah. We can try in join.
No, apart from join, any other way? Will tell.
Yeah. We can.
Guys, very simple.
Where not in, we can use
Tell me full query.
select investor name from investor one where investor name not in, and then this
Not in.
subquery we can write to select investor name from investor.
Investor name from investor. Which table? One or two?
Investor two.
Two. Okay. So from this query, what we are trying to tell that, okay, select those investors from investor one table who is not present in investor two table. So this is again, will give you the same one. Got the same output, Shneer and Anupam? Is this query clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the help of Norton, you have solved this question. So similarly, now go to the question number 6 again. Okay, you remember this question? The question was to find the investors who are present in both the tables, right? If I will ask you to solve this using in, how you can solve that using in? What you will write?
Investor in this particular subquery.
So in this subquery, you will just write instead of not in, you will write it, right? And you will get the investors who are present in both the tables. Is this clear, guys?
Yeah.
You all are not giving
Yes.
any response. Okay, this is clear. Now the question is that why I should go for this intersect? Intersect. Why I should go for this intersect here? New things you are teaching, no use. This in can do the task, then why I will go for intersect? Okay. Is this a question revolving and rotating in your mind or not? If you're not interested in this, I will move to the next topic. Okay, not interested. Fine.
No, it's
Interested.
Good.
Okay. So see, the question is that intersect is doing the same task. Join is also doing the same task. But okay, fine, you have told that there are few differences, that intersect will ignore the duplicates and intersect consider nulls. But join ignores nulls and join consider duplicate. This is fine. But what about in? The same task I can do using in as well. Okay. So then why I cannot use n, right? So let's see the reason why you cannot use in. What's the difference? Again, I'm dropping this table. And
I think in ignores null.
in ignores null. Okay, good catch. Any other thought, guys?
Consider duplicate also.
Considers duplicate also. Okay, okay, very good, very good. So something you are thinking from duplicate and null perspective, right? That is what you are thinking, that something will happen, means the behavior of null will be, sorry, behavior of in will be something in regard to duplicate or something in regard to null. So that is what you want to understand, the behavior of in operator with null and duplicates, right? That's a twist here. Okay. So let's see that how this in will behave with this two things. So intentionally I have dropped that investor one, investor two table, and I'm again inserting some duplicate record and the null records I've invested. So just to understand the behavior of in. Okay. The data is in front of you. So again, we are moving to the first question. Select investor name. So if that is the question, the previous one, that okay, find the investor name who is present in both the tables. If you remember, this was the question we were discussing. So you will write a query. So someone told me that no, Tanvir, I want to write this using an operator. Please show me with the help of an operator, because I think in is behaving in the same way like intersect. Okay. If there's any difference, show me that. Okay, fine. I will write select investor name from investor one, where investor name n, right? This is what I think you guys are telling. Okay. I can do using this one. Investor name from investor two. I think this is the query, right? This is the query. Thinking that okay, they should also give me the same output, because from this query I'm telling to SQL engine that SQL, please fetch me those investors who are present in investor one, but they must be present in investor two as well, because we know this is the importance of in operating. We know this. Okay, fine. Let me run this and see the behavior. But please make a note of the point here in investor one. Internationally, we have duplicates, we have null record. Investor two, we have null record as well. Now let's see the behavior, how it is behaving here. And you guys will tell me the reason and answer what is happening here. Yeah, come on. What is happening here? From this output, what you understood?
Consider null, ignores
In
duplicate.
consider duplicates values, but ignores null.
Considers duplicates. Someone has told me consider. What you are telling ignores
Null.
Consider duplicates. Ignore null. Okay, so how you can tell that it consider duplicates?
Namita in the
Perfect,
output.
perfect. Right. Namita is coming twice, correct?
Yeah.
And we have null record present in both the tables, but null is not there at the output. So I think this observation is correct. Everyone is convinced with this?
Everyone,
Yeah.
Yeah, someone has asked a question.
yeah, Tanvir, if we reverse the case that investor two in investor one, so we will get Namita one time, right?
Good question. Yeah, very good, very good. 1 minute. Give me only 1 minute. I will come to that question. Okay, but very good question. Let me write it here. I will discuss after this. 1 minute. I want to cover one more scenario. Then I will come to this. This is your question, right? We'll discuss this. But before
yeah,
this,
we will get Namita one time, right?
I will come here. I will come to this. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I want to conclude this one. Then I will come to this special. But this was a good question you have suggested. Someone told me that in operator it consider duplicates and ignores null. First of all, are you all convinced with this?
Yes.
Is this the correct observation? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now compare the behavior of n with intersect. Intersect ignores duplicate, but in consider duplicates. Correct? Intersect considers null, in ignores null. Now, in and intersect, are they performing the same way or different way?
Different.
Different.
First of all, the difference between in and intersect is clear, yes or no?
Yes.
Clear. Okay. Now compare in with join. In consider duplicates, join consider duplicates. Perfect. In ignores null, join also ignore null. Correct.
Yes.
So it seems that in and join, they both are doing the same task.
Mm,
Correct, no?
yes.
Seems that they both are doing the same task, right? Then I will show you that what is the difference again with the join and in. So meanwhile, just leave that for the time being. So I hope in intersect and join, this khichdi is clear to you all. You at least you understood the behavior of each one of this, right? Okay. Now coming to this question. Someone has asked that, okay, no, I want to write investor 2 and the investor name in this. So before running that output, okay, before looking at the output, just do some analysis. Okay, do some analysis. You are telling investor 2 tables, which is present in investor 1, correct? So first of all, in investor 2, who all are the investors? First one is Aman, right? Second is Namita. Okay. Third one is Yush. Fourth one is Vinita. And then you have null. And investor 1, what you have? Investor 1, you have Vashni and Anupam. What else you have? Yush, Namita, null. This is the data. Fine. Now try to understand how this in operator works. Always think from SQL engine perspective. Okay. So first of all, your outer query. It will start from this record. Aman. It will check. Is Aman present in investor 1? Is Aman present in investor 1? Here? No.
No.
Here? No. Here? No. Here? No. Here? No. Here? No. So Aman will not be available. Okay. This is record will be discarded. Namita. Is Namita present here? No. Here? No. Here? No. Here. Yeah, Namita is present. Keep that as a note. Okay. Now, is Namita present after that also? Yeah, Namita is present here as well. Okay. Okay.
But it will consider one time, right?
Consider one. Oh, just a minute. Just hold on. First, complete the manual analysis. Then I will tell you that what is happening here. Is this clear?
Yes.
Is it clear, guys? Okay. Now, Vinita, Ashni, no, it's not same. Vishnita Anupam, no. Vinita Piyush, no. Vinita Niveda, no. This is not matching. So Vinita is again not matching. Null is matching with this null. Okay. Now, so as per the manual analysis, suppose we don't know SQL, we have done this analysis and we got this output. Okay. Now here we know that in ignores null. Correct. This is clear. So this null will not be there. This is clear, right? Because in ignores the null part.
Yes.
Is this clear?
Yes.
Now we have mentioned that it consider duplicates. So we have duplicate Namita. So we are thinking that this Namita should come 2 times. Am I correct?
Yes.
So far clear everything? Now let me execute and try to understand what is happening. First of all, I'm repeating, is the manual analysis what we have done, is that clear? Clear, no? Same way how we have done in join, I'm doing here only. Same way I have done. Okay. Now let me run this. Piyush and Namita. Piyush is also present here. No, Piyush we have not seen here. Oh, Piyush is also present, right? I missed the Piyush. Piyush is also present here. Okay. And null will not be present. We have discussed because it ignores the null. So after manual analysis, we got that Namita and Piyush should be the output. But here we have only Piyush and Namita. So what is the mistake? Where here we have written Namita twice, but in the output Namita is coming only once. So in analysis, where we have done the mistake. Correct, no? We got Namita twice, but in the output Namita is only once. So where we have done the mistake in analysis?
We after getting Namita one, we moved to searching again Namita in this subquery.
Correct. See, here you are not joining. Suppose I went to a restaurant. Okay. I told to waiter that I want Coca-Cola. Okay. And he has 4 fridge. Okay. In the first fridge, he got Coca-Cola. He will he will bring and he will give it to me. Or do you think he will go to the next fridge and then third fridge and in the fourth fridge he will see in all the fridges that okay, if in fridge 1 Coca-Cola is there, then he will search in fridge 2 as well. He will search for 3 as well. No, he will just search in the first fridge. If it is there, he will bring it to you, because the question here is just tell me it is present there or not. N means just tell me it is present there or not. That's all, and stop here. And this is the difference between in and join. Now is this clear? In will just check if it is there or not. Namita, he is there or not. So yeah, Namita is present here. It will stop here. It will not check for the further records, because user has not asked that how many times it is present. I'm not asking to the waiter that how many Coca-Cola bottles you have. That is the scenario of join. In join, we are bothered that in how many fridges you have Coca-Cola, how many bottles of Coca-Cola you have. And that is why join can solve the record. But in operator is just telling you, boss, yes or no, do you have or not? That's all. Is this clear? So that is why if you're doing with the Namita case, so if it will match with, suppose if Namita is present here itself at the very top, and there's a joining condition, it matches. So your SQL will not scan the other records. It will stop here itself. This is the difference between the engine, SQL engine, how it performs with the in operator and the join operator. Is this clear now?
Yes,
I think it's not clear.
yes, please.
See, guys, 1 minute.
Navir, please repeat.
One minute only. Join from all this story, what I want to highlight, join will scan all the record, okay, whether it is matching or not. But in is just checking true or false, that value is there or not. The moment you think if it is present there, it will not search all the other records. The moment waiter has observed that the Coca-Cola is present in the first fridge, he will not go and search in the all the other fridges. Okay, I hope this is clear now.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me which one will be faster, join or in?
In
In operator.
That's all. The story finish. Hope you have understood this. Now, questions, please. Tell me. So always try to understand from SQL engine perspective. Right till now, I think you all know that many of you know the concept of in, many of you know the concept of join, but hope you have understood, you have learned something new, that internally how it is happening, which one will be better. The same task, the same query you see in has done, with the help of intersect we have done, with the help of join we have done, but there are some differences. That's why we have different keywords, and try to understand those things. Okay, fine guys, any other question? No, yes or no? No questions, so fine. So this I will leave to you guys. Now I think you can work on this, you can solve it. Okay, we have done investment only in second round, so this is exactly opposite of this question number 7. I hope you guys can do this, but if you're getting any problem, we can connect on that.
Tanvi, can't we solve that one, question 7, using joint operator?
Question 7 using join operator. You want me to solve this? Okay. Which was investment done by the first one and only first one. Oh, okay, fine. I'm not solve this. Okay, fine. Investor who has an investment in only first round, and we have to solve this using join operator. Okay. So it's 8-12. Those who want to drop, they can drop, but if interested to continue, you can continue. Okay. But don't blame me later point of time. Tanvir has committed, he will take class till 8 only, but he's spoiling my routine and all those things, guys. Okay, fine. So let's see that example. First of all, I will drop the tables and let's create the. So any means I want to understand any problem if we are extending session by 10 to 15 minutes. Anyone who has some strict commitments at 8, because I will follow that rule. Yes or no? Any problem?
Which
No, Tanvi,
No problem.
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay, so quickly I will show you the solution. That's because we are getting late. Okay, fine. Let me try here. I will repeat one thing, sorry, for general information. Those who are interested to attend that detailed testing batch, so almost the seats are blocked. Almost. Okay, so if any one of you are interested, so please let me know as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will be difficult for me to adjust, okay, at a later point of time. Fine, okay. So this is the investor one table, and let me separate this. Investor two table. So we have this data in front of you. I've inserted all the records and all these things. Question was to find the investor only in first round. First round means you want to find the investor names who is present only in the first table, but not in the second table. Hope the question is clear to everyone. Okay. So quickly I will write the query because now you guys are smart enough in all those joins and all those things. The best way to do this is with the help of left join, but I have not taught left join. So, okay, I have taught left join, but let's do this with the help of join. Then we will see this how we can do with the help of left join as well. Okay. From investor A, join investor B on A dot investor name. How many of you have tried this here?
yeah, I have tried.
Okay, see, table of view does not exist. I have done a mistake. Oh, investor one, investor two. Oh, let me execute this one. Okay, so from this you will get the information that the investors who are present in both the tables, right? You are clear with this. Now, I have given you a hint. Now think what you will do after this. Namita and Piyush are the one who are present in both the table 1 and table 2. But which one you want in this investor 1? Who is that one who is not present in investor 2? Ashni and Anupam?
Yeah.
Is the question clear? Namita and Piyush, you got the output because Namita and Piyush is present in both the tables. I have used this joining condition, correct? But you want this Ashni and Anupam, right? Because they are not present in both the tables. So what you will do now?
We can frame where condition.
Where condition. Suppose you don't have to use where condition, then
Not
no idea.
Equal.
Not equal to. Very good. See, here I have used equal to. Suppose if I will use not equal to. Suppose, just try to understand, if I will use not equal to. Again, there is a twist, but try to understand what will happen. Let me execute this. Let me write here, be investor name as well. Although I have given you a very strong hint, now you guys can try this, but let me explain this. Okay, now see, you are getting all the information. If you're using not equal to, you're getting Ashni, Ranam, Ashni, Piyush. Let me sort this in order by as well. Order by A dot investor name. Okay, now see, not equal to means for Anupam, you are getting Aman, Anita, Piyush, Vinita, because you see, and I have sorted this because I have told not equal to. So here you will not get Anita which is equal to, or not equal to. Anupam is not equal to Aman. Anupam is not equal to Namita and all those things. So that's why you are getting huge results at here. But in this not equal to, you want which record, which is equal to that. Correct, no? If that is equal to that investor 2 information, you don't want that one. So now if you have used this one, Anupam and Anupam and Aman, Anupam and Namita, Anupam Piyush, Anupam Vinita. So this is giving you the record which is not equal to that. First of all, is this not equal to clear or not? That's what I want to tell you. Is this equal?
Yeah.
Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
but
when I have, yeah.
yeah, so we have to find which is present in one but not in two. Okay, so if we only use a select to a dot investor name and we don't write b dot investor name, so it will give us the correct output.
The output, no, I'm not telling this is the output. I'm not told now that this is the output. I'm just first of all telling you that how this not equal to will behave. Okay, then we will see that output how what it did. Okay. So if it is not equal to, you understood the behavior, Anupam with Aman, because Anupam is not equal to Aman. Anupam is not equal to Namita. And if I will use equals, so you are getting the one which is present in both the table. First of all, equals and not equal operator in from join perspective. Is this clear?
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now do one thing. Now do one thing. I remove this one first of all. This is the output that Namita and Piyush are present in both the tables. Now what you have to do is you have to use subquery. Have I taught subquery or not? Not sure subquery have I taught or not.
We have to
Oh, subquery I have not taught, no? Okay.
You will
Confused,
someday.
but I can give an hint. Those who have worked on subquery, I will cover that subquery tomorrow. So what you can do, you take this query in a subquery, okay, and then again join with this investor one and apply the condition is not equal to. Okay, do that first of all, and then you will get a hint what you have to do after that. Is that clear? Those who knows the concept of subquery, and if you're interested, you can try this. Otherwise, I will teach you subquery tomorrow, and then I will tell you how you can do with this. Is that clear?
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
Because now if I will start subquery, everything will be confused. Okay. So fine, guys. So almost we are done. And again, I will share with. No, today I will not share assignment because I'm not taught you anything new. But I will try to go through this concept of intersect, and join. That is very important. So fine then. So Dhani, I think you want to discuss something, right, regarding SAD?
Yeah.
You want to continue or you want to continue some time?
We can continue here.
Okay, fine. So others, thank you. Thanks a lot. You guys can drop. Dhania, I will suggest I will stop the sharing now. Okay, I will stop the recording now. Okay. And let me see.
Tanvi, is it technical or is it something else?
Technical only means from a city type 2. Actually, Dhania wants to understand that if it's a city type 2 scenario, how we can test it. Okay. So,
Can I stay in?
Sure. If you're interested, you can stay here. Not a problem. I just wanted to see if anyone they have some commitment, they have to some of the task. Okay, fine. So all good. So let's try to understand first of all what is a city type 2. Okay, and this is very important concept of ETL world. Okay, city type 2 transformation logic. Slowly changing dimension. Type 2, we have a city type 1, type 2, type 3. And generally SCD type 2 is used in most of the project. SCD type 1 is also used, but SCD type 2 is something like you can get historical information. Okay, I will tell you in short. Okay, so suppose this is a chart table and you have employee ID, employee name, by location. I'm keeping the things very simple, but if you think that it's not clear, you can ask me. Okay, HR employee ID 1, employee name is A, and location is suppose Delhi. Okay. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, audible.
Okay, fine. Suppose next day, next month, the same employee got transferred to Mumbai. Okay. And this is the data. Fine. If I will ask you that where this employee A is residing now, what will be your answer?
Mumbai.
Mumbai, right? Because I have told you that he is staying in Mumbai. But suppose someone who don't know this data table structure, and I will tell him that, okay, tell me where A is staying. He will be confused, right? He's
Yeah.
staying in Delhi or he's staying in Mumbai because we have two records of employee A. Correct, no? You will get confused that where is he staying. No problem. Okay. So then we have a concept of flag. So if flag is N and flag Y. Flag is Y. It means this is active record and this is the active information of this user. I hope this is clear. So from flag Y, you will understand that, okay, A is staying in Mumbai. Correct? This is clear. But now the question is that why you want to do all these things here? Suppose this is the question someone will ask me. Okay. Maybe then you will ask that, okay, why you are creating this two record? Just keep the active one only. Suppose A is staying in Mumbai now. So update this and keep it Mumbai. I will understand, okay, is staying in Mumbai. Why you are keeping this Delhi information as well? Correct. The reason why I'm storing this information as well, sometimes you want to see the history information, especially if you're working life sciences project and if you have worked on that KPI numbers and all those things. You will see that hospital management, they will maintain the history of that patient's, okay, diseases and all those things. So once you go to the hospital, they will enter your patient ID and they will get all the information about you. Why? Because they're maintaining your history. So similarly, in this particular company, their HR want to maintain the history of the location, that where this employee was earlier, then he got transferred to which location and all those things. So because of this, we used to maintain history. This is the reason. Okay, you are also correct that you can just keep the latest one. This is also fine. But in certain scenarios, we have to maintain history, and this is the reason we have to create like this. And that's why this kind of data is known as SCD type 2, slowly changing dimension type 2, because they're maintaining history. Suppose next month again, he got transferred to Chennai from here. Okay, so what will happen? So now he's staying in Chennai. This record will be Y and this will be N. Okay, so this is the latest record. Now this is not the latest one. Okay, so I think this is clear. This is SCD type 2. This we will cover in that ETL testing. We used to cover this. So this is done. Now the question is, this is fine. This is behaving perfectly. Now suppose you are testing this project and you have to test this scenario whether the development team has coded this correctly or not. Okay. But before this, you have to ask a question to your development or business analyst, and you should never ask question to a development team. Testers must interact only with the business analyst or the business stakeholders. Suppose you have one more column here, mobile number. Okay, and your mobile number was 123 earlier, and then suppose it is 123 here as well, 123 here as well. Okay. Next day you change that mobile number. Now the mobile number is 456. Fine. But you are staying in location 1 only. Sorry, your ID is 1 only. Your name is A, and you're staying in Chennai only. Okay. I will repeat the scenario. Your mobile number was 123 in all these 3 locations. But in Chennai itself, you thought that, okay, now I have to change the SIM or something like that. You got a new number and the number is 456. Now the question is, do you have to create a new record for this or not? Or you will just update here 456 that, okay, this is 456. Which one you will go?
That depends on which column we are maintaining the SCD.
Perfect. That depends that on which column you are maintaining SCD type 2. Very important question. If in your project they are telling that we are maintaining SCD type 2 on location, so it means if only the location will change, only you are going to create a new record. Okay. So here, suppose the requirement is not to make SCD type 2 on mobile number. So if mobile number is getting changed, you are not going to create a new record. You will just silently update here 456. That's all. This will not be created. Hope this is clear.
Yeah.
So always when you are working on SCD type 2, the first question is, tell me the column on which you want to maintain history. Okay, fine. Now the question is, suppose as of now, the history you are maintaining on location only. Okay. So now the question is, Tanvir, how should I test it? First of all, you should never trust on the existing data in your set or UAT environment for SCD type 2. You should create a data. You have to create data on your own and you should check all these conditions. Okay. Now, the first what you have to check is this is the HR target table. Suppose this is your target table, or maybe you are telling integration layer table or access layer table. I'm not sure in your project from which perspective you are speaking. So assume this is your target table. Okay. And fine. Okay, and this is your source table. Maybe this can be source table or source file, whatever it may be, and assume your project is working on incremental mode. Okay, so this is ID, this is name, and this is location, right? Generally, in a typical ETL project, this happens. Now you will get some data in source file or source table, and you will run the job, and it will be loaded in the target. Okay. The data is 1A Chennai, because currently you are staying in Chennai. So in the source file, they have mentioned that you are staying in Chennai, and you will load this data. This data will be loaded in target table, and this is the expectation. I hope this is clear. This cycle is clear, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to test it. So what should be your first query? You have to write a query from source side and target side. So what will be your source side query? Source query will be select ID, comma, name. So Danya, I'm telling from very straightforward perspective, okay? But if you think there is some twist, please let me know. From source table or source file, whatever is there, yeah. Okay, I'm not commenting on that. Or maybe suppose you have received in source and you have loaded in a stage table. This is your stage table, whatever. And then you will write one query from target perspective as well. Select ID, comma, name, comma, location. That is what generally we used to do in the testing, right? You write a source query and target table query on both the tables. Now you will compare both the query. Now, do you think both the query will give the same output and it will be pass? No, that will not be passed, right? Because as per the expectation, this should be your latest record, and latest record has flag Y. So it means you have to mention here where flag is equal to Y. Correct? So if you will run this query on target, you will get this as an output. Okay. And then from source, you will get this as an output. Now, if you will compare, both are same and everything is passed. But suppose development team, they have done some mistake. Okay. And this record is not getting updated. Assume for the time being, negative scenario, this is not getting updated. Latest record is not getting updated sometime. Okay. So let me hide this. This is not there. So in that case, what will happen? You will get output as 1A Mumbai in target. Correct. And then this will not be equal to this one. So you will raise a defect that this is a defect. It is not getting updated. This is one scenario. Second scenario, that the new record has been updated, but the flag is not getting updated. Still it is N. Sorry. Still it is N. So when you will run this query, will you get any output?
No.
No, because this flag was not updated. So you will get here no data found. Right now, you will get no data found output. So again, that's the defect, because we are expecting this in the output target table, but it is not present. You will get no data found. Is this two test case clear?
Yeah.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Now, what if suppose this is the target table? Suppose this is the target table. There's one more scenario. You have this ID, name, location. Okay, and this is a flag column. Fine. Suppose this was A, 1A, and this is A, and this is Delhi. Next day, your location changed to Mumbai. So the source file, you will get this information that new location is Mumbai, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You will run the job. After running the job, your expectation is a new record should be created.
Yeah.
With flag.
Right.
Y, and this flag should be N. This is your expectation. But actually, suppose what happened, the development team, they have coded in such a way that earlier record was updated like this. It is not maintaining history. But flag column, it is, they have maintained it as Y. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
What mistake they have done is, this was the expectation that a new record should be created.
Yeah.
Like this. But by mistake, what they have done, they have updated the previous record. You can see here. They have updated the previous record. Okay. Now for testing, you are using the same query. This query again you are using for the testing perspective. Okay, you want to test and you are using the same query. Now, what will be the output of this source query? You will get this data.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this target query you have created and you thought that, okay, always I will run this and I can validate the SCD tag too. Now, what will be the output of this in this scenario? You will get this output.
Yeah.
Now, they both are same. Flag column is not there, so I will remove this flag. They both are same.
Yeah.
They both are same. But do you think the coding was correct here?
No.
No, because they have updated this here, and this was the expectation, but still your test case is passed. That means you are missing some scenario in your test case, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So then how you can validate that? You have to write one more query. Okay. And your query should be select. I'm telling you a very simple one. Again, I'm repeating. Okay. Select name from target table. Okay. Having, I think I'm not taught you having a knowledge. I don't remember that. Okay. But you have to use this. Having count of distinct flag equal to 1 group by name. Now see, what is the purpose of this query? If this is the scenario, if everything was perfect, so you will be having two records with A, one N and one Y.
Okay.
Correct? No? This is the catch here. If this has been done, so automatically you'll be having two records with flag N and Y. Correct?
Yeah.
So that is why you are checking here that count of distinct flag, if it is equal to 1 only, because if this is a scenario, the distinct flag is only 1. And if you're getting any output, suppose you will get output 1 here, ID is called, name is A. So it means for name A, I have only one flag and that is Y. And then you will catch that, okay, there is some issue, because what you're expecting that the flag should be one with record with N and the other record should be Y. So you're expecting that my count of distinct flag will give me greater than one output, and is 2 output. So you are doing a negative testing here, and for count of distinct flag, you're getting only one output. It means only one record has this flag. But the expectation is I must be having two distinct flags. Then only it means you are maintaining history. Okay. So you have to include this test case, this query as well. Is this clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
So by this, you can cover these two scenarios. Okay. Any other question?
And also, Tanvir, one more question is, how do you compare the data between source and target? So I answered like by using minus query. But
No. This is the question asked in most of the interviews. They will ask you that how you are comparing data between source and target, but you have to start from count. That first of all, I will check the count first thing, because I have told you minus will ignore the duplicates. Okay, and if there is any count mismatch, that will be lost. So first you should check the count. Tell them that first of all, I will check the count in source and I will check the count in target. First thing, if the count is same, then I will check the minus query. So minus query is just confirming you that data has not been truncated. It is not the assurance that all the data from source has moved to the target. Same thing I have posted on my LinkedIn post as well, because minus, it ignores the duplicates, right? By mistake, suppose your target table duplicate record is getting generated. Something mistake development team has done. So that will not be catch here, right? Then your third query will be to check the duplicate records in the target. Then the fourth query will be to check the mandatory columns in the target. So don't trust only on minus. At least these 4 queries you have to execute. First one, check the count. Second, check the minus. Now you can ask question that why I will use count when I'm using minus, because minus doesn't consider duplicate record. Okay. Then third query will be to check the duplicate record. Fourth one will be to check the mandatory column. So these are very generic. But again, from your project perspective, you have some functional checks. You have to check those functional columns as well. Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, Tanvi, same thing in assignment you have mentioned to see the difference. So I use that group by and I did a minus.
Assignment, which assignment? Yesterday assignment, totally.
No, I don't remember which date. So you were telling.
Correct. Got it. I think last week I have given that, right? What all queries you will write to check the data from source to target. So this is the answer for that. I think you have done, or I think you have written minus. So that is the problem with minus here. You cannot trust only on minus.
Yeah, but I use the group by that when both the tables.
But you have not mentioned that mandatory column. Remember, mandatory query you have not inserted there. If you remember, no, you have not mentioned anything about mandatory. How you will check the mandatory columns? Because in that question, I have mentioned a column which is not null. You remember that? So you check your query, mandatory check you have not done. Okay. Okay, fine, guys. Any other question?
Nothing. That's it then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks.